Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. My name is Candace Arnold, and I am your moderator for this hour of the ReRock 24 Hours Empowerment Marathon. Thank you so much for being available to spend a few minutes of your time with us. We have several more hours to go, and we're so glad that you took a moment to come and hear our next speaker, Miss Wanda Pearson. And before we even get started with her, I just want to make sure that you are aware that if you have not already done so, you previous speakers, you have an opportunity which is werock24hours2021.eventbrite.com. That way you do qualify for any of the door prizes that are made available. And we want to encourage you that as you have those aha moments, which we know throughout the course of this marathon, you will have a lot of them. Make sure you use the hashtag WeRock24Hours or Own Your Future or WeRock 2021 across all your social media outlets. So this actual hour is being sponsored by myself. I have actually have a business. I'm a virtual event administrator, and so what I do is I provide administrative support to visionaries who are want to execute their vision of their events and whatever event that they're doing. And what I do is I help to create an experience that brings transformative value and change to their lives and to the lives of their audiences. So you can find me at via Facebook at the Master Administrator via Facebook. So we want to go ahead and jump right into our segment. And we have the wonderful Wanda Pearson. And she is a trailblazer and a Renaissance woman. And she's gorgeous, y'all. Y'all look at her. She's gorgeous. With over 36 years of experience in marketing and sales with IBM, along with her extensive background in social work and women's counseling, her passion for helping others fuels her ministry and serves as a catalyst for her overall success. She is a consultant and entrepreneur, a speaker, a thought leader on legal protection and small business and women empowerment. So, Wanda, are you ready?
I am ready. I am
Okay,
ready.
so Wanda Pearson, lady, you rock.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just want to say, because Candace is in California, and I want to say, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We did ours. And also Leanne, I'm not sure. She's in South Africa, so I don't know if I guess she celebrated. I'm not sure. But anyway, Happy New Year. You know what? I got to get my energy up. the way Sabrina was, 3:00 in the morning, girl. This is rough. But I want to start off with how you all started off with ReRock 24 with Michelle Collins. That was so inspirational, and I really loved her spiritual prayer that she gave us there. During this time, it's been rough. This has been a really rough time, 2020. So now we're in 2021. But I want to share something with you about that. And I'm very spiritual as well. So we've been through this pandemic in 2020, right? And we need to continue to pray that God take us through 2021 and to keep the faith and believe in us, in our family, and our business. I want to share these Bible verses that are so pertinent in keeping us focused on God's plans. Know in all things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. That is Romans 8:37-39. I thought that was so pertinent for what we're talking about and how we're going to start the 2021 year in. But another one that actually pastor told us today during watch night is, and we know in all things God works for good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That's Romans 8:28. I love that verse. That is something that we really need to keep our spirits up. 2021 is here, and now it's time to keep our spirit, our positivity, because there's so much division in this world. But this is what actually I'm going to lead right into, to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So, and I want to tell you what my favorite Bible verse is. That actually you read my bio, Candace, and I love it, because when I retired from IBM, my favorite verse was Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. That is what I strived on. And I'm going to tell you, yesterday, 12/31 was 3 years when I retired from IBM after 36 years. So I am so proud to actually be able to get into my own entrepreneurship and to be able to be into Re-Rock 24. I've been with Edeline for 2 years, one of the founding members. And it's just been like a pleasure to be able to be part of this group. And I was just telling her, I said, this is actually one of my first time. Edeline said, Wanda, you want to be a speaker? Well, that is part of what I did. She told me to do so many different things, and I did. Speaking on Facebook, I said I'm not a Facebook person, right? I start speaking and I start getting into webinars. So I'm doing a lot of things that I've never done that I thought I would never get into. But my passion is really to be able to help people. And as Candace was saying, I'm that natural one. So I've been wanting to be a social worker since I was, in 5th grade. And that's something that God had put into me as far as helping people. So that is one of my passions that I like to do. And thank you, Edeline, for actually asking me to be a speaker on here. And my biggest passion has been to make sure everybody have their plan, their legacy together. And as I go through my presentation, I'm sure you're going to understand. They used to call me the wheel lady. Well, I don't care. I'm the wheel lady. But the biggest thing is making sure that you're building your legacy. There are 5 steps to building the legacy. And I want you all to drop in the chat. Tell me what you think legacy is. What is the definition of legacy, what you think it is? And according to the dictionary, it's money or property that received from someone after they die. An elderly cousin had left her a small legacy. You know, a lot of people used to run from me when I talked to them about a will. They used to run from me. They didn't think it was important. But look what's happening. Look what's happening in this world today. I mean, I don't want to put Debbie Downer, but this is something that's very important. And my passion is to make sure that everybody is covered with this. So 2021 is upon us. Now we're into a new year, right? Have you thought about what you want to accomplish? You know, do you have a family, your business, right? 2020 hit us hard and has given us a lot to ponder on and reflect on our lives and the legacy we will leave behind. That legacy is something that you may, I had a lot of people say, well, I don't have a legacy. I don't have anything to leave. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have a lot to leave, to leave. So many of us have lost someone, and God forbid, I really pray for you and for the strength and the peace that you may have lost someone dear to you, especially with this COVID-19. It's just been, my God is really trying to tell us something. So we really need to think about your children, your business, yourself. How can you reevaluate your legacy and what is important to you? So let me tell you about my story. I grew up in Chicago. We didn't think anything about doing a legacy. I had no idea what that meant. Nobody did. We didn't know what legacy meant. It was like, well, what is a legacy? But life threw us a curveball. My sister died at 25 years old. She died the day after my birthday. I will never forget that, November 16th, and left behind 3 young children, right? She didn't pay her life insurance. She had just stopped paying it. It was like a bill that she couldn't afford, and she just stopped paying it. So we had to figure out how to pay for a funeral. Well, my mom said that she needed to plan for herself. So my mom, she ended up getting a $5,000 policy. Of course, nowadays, you know, that's not enough. 5,000 is not enough. So thank God my brother called me and said, Wanda, mom had been, she couldn't pay it. So I took over that policy. But she did whatever she can afford. So she wasn't thinking of a legacy. She was just thinking about what happened to my sister, right? I had just moved to Georgia when she died. So those were a lot of obstacles that got in my way. We still wasn't thinking about a legacy. I didn't think much about a legacy as far as that, but I'm gonna tell you what happened when we start thinking about getting our life together. When we were in New Jersey, my husband and I bought a house, a townhouse. Our lawyer said, okay, you need to get a will. I said, a will? Well, we're only 25 years old. Well, you need to get a will. Now we have a house and we have a child, our first daughter. So that was something that we had to think about doing. But that's just something that actually we had to really start rethinking what do we want to do? What's important, right? So we had moved to Georgia when she died. as I said, her policy was not enough. My mother's policy was not enough. Now, mind you, just moved to Georgia. My husband just gave up his business. I still have a house in New Jersey that we hadn't sold. We have the house here in Georgia. Paying two mortgages, it was kind of rough. So thank God I had a brother who had actually helped me to find a way to pay for that cemetery cost. Cemetery cost was another 3,000. So how are we going to get $3,000 together, right? So we, thank God we got the money together to be able to bury her. And while the whole time grieving her loss and just moving here and not being able to be there when she did die, it was really kind of tough. So this is what made me have that passion of planning more of getting my legacy together, right? So what it does, and I'm telling you, this is really something that we need to really start thinking about. What does a personal legacy mean to you? In simple terms, a legacy is passed from one generation to the next and often refers to gifts of money or property. However, leaving a personal legacy involves more than the financial assets you bestow on your younger generation. You see the kids? You have kids. What happens when you do leave this world? The state takes over your kids. If you don't have a legacy, your will estate planning done, and don't have someone who can take care of your kids, they go to the state. Now, anything that I have worked so hard for, I don't want anything going to the state. I want to make sure that my loved ones are taken care of, right? So making sure you have that together is so important. So we want to remember for something that to be known as not merely ordinary, to be seen as someone who truly made a difference. We make a difference when we show our children what we're doing here, right? So you want to leave your imprint on this world to make sure that you actually are taking care of your children, taking care of your legacy. We're all, I mean, a lot of us are in our own business. They're our home-based business, our brick and mortar business. That is something that you want to make sure that somebody that you trust, that you can leave that imprint on, and you can make sure your children are taken care of as well. So I always ask this question, and I tell you, I've been in we've been in actually doing our leadership for 2 years. But when I got out started doing networking, coming from IBM in corporate, I didn't know nothing about networking. I didn't know nothing about selling. So my biggest thing was said, have you updated your will lately? A lot of folks are like, what? I mean, I'm not going to die. This one lady, I'm not going to die soon. You never know. Look what's happened with COVID. But it's something that I actually just got this great article when I said, have you updated your will lately? You need to update it. Your guide to when to change your will. Your guide to when to change is take a look at what has changed in your life, right? Have there been family changes? Have you had a new baby? Have you, left your job? Have you retired? Relocating to a new state, like what happened to us. We relocated from New Jersey to Atlanta. IBM moved me out here. Changes in your state's value. Let's say you move from one house to another, or you don't have a house anymore. You're doing something else different. Tax laws. Tax laws changes, right? What about if you want to support your favorite cause? Something that you want to leave behind. You have to unleash your willpower, and also making gifts to someone that you want to make a gift to. Create a trust for your loved ones. Those are all the things that you need to think about, right? And name your executor. When you have children, grandchildren, because even when I did my will, they said, do you want to exclude some of your grandchildren? So I'm a grandma now. I have 2 daughters, married 39 years, and both my daughters are married. So I have 6 grandchildren. So I put my grandchildren in my will at the same time. Now, you got a grandchild that you disown, they even have that in there. Do you want to disown your grandchild? I mean, that was really kind of crazy to me. But you have to create that trust for your loved ones, right? You have to name that executor, and you have to cut your estate taxes as well. So you name that guardian to make sure that you have updated all your will information, but that's all in the information that we give to you. The legacy I would like to leave is that in order to be successful in life, you have to put God first. This is what I'm saying. Put God first. Always have in mind your own. And to remember, you have to thank God for the victory in Jesus' name. Always work toward world peace and to be able to love and sharing. All I ever wanted, because I grew up in an abusive with my stepfather, abusive household when I was younger, that actually made me think about, I don't want anybody. I don't like this. I don't like this disorganization. I don't like people that yell. I like peace. Peace is what's really important to me. And what's going on in this world today is really sad. So this is why, with the COVID-19 pandemic, all of this stuff that's going on, you need to think about what's going on here. So what I want to talk to you about now is what are the 5 steps to start building that legacy, right? So first of all, you need to define what legacy means. What does it mean to you? Your own personal legacy. What does it mean to you? Everything that I just discussed. Understand your true purpose of what's important. Identify your legacy and write your legal love letter. And I'll call this a legal love letter. You're going to understand what I'm talking about in a few minutes. But that is part of your legacy, right? Leaving that legacy is so important. So I'm sorry, you don't have to give up the good things in life to start building your legacy. So you need to do it now. So let's get started on building your legacy today. What are the 5 steps to plan your legacy? As I was saying, define what legacy means to you. Understand your true purpose and what is important. Identify your legacy. Write your legal love letter. Talk with a person you trust and live with, to live your legacy. And this thing is actually blocking me here. And use your time wisely. That's very important. Use your time wisely. Life is very short. I always say life is so short. We get stressed out by certain things. And what Sabrina just went off about goals, that is so important. Goals. This is one of the goals that we need to start planning for 2021. Putting that aside. And I love the vision board that she was talking about because it actually helped me to get my goals together, including building my legacy. So those are things you need to think about and make sure you having that important thing that's important, that's important in your life, right? So of course my thing wants to stop moving here. Yeah, so it really makes a difference when you actually are thinking about your family, your business. You have a business now. What business, especially with the pandemic, we're trying to do the right things as far as what is the right things to out of these 5 steps. How do you want to start using your legacy? How do you want to do what's important first? So having, and then I tell you my my share screen just stopped. So I'm going to actually stop this for a minute and come back to it. Sorry about that. Yeah, decided to just stop sharing here. Yeah, so anyway, so it actually, we need to make sure we start our goals, like what Sabrina was talking about before. It was she really put it on strong as far as goals, vision boards, or whatever, like what you want to accomplish. And writing that legal love letter is so important. And what I want to show you real quick is actually my legal love letter that I actually have. That's so important. And I call it a legal love letter because people say, don't call it a will, call it a legal love letter. So I want to show you that legal love letter that I actually have because it's something that we never think about. When we die, this is actually my legal love letter, and I'm not sure. Let me see if I'm sharing. Sorry about that, Candace. I want to make sure that I am sharing still here. Okay, so yeah, so the legal love letter is actually your assets, like your financial information. I don't know if you can see this here, but this is part of what I'm going to be giving away as well. In here, we don't think about things because when someone, especially your parents or your husband, your partner, don't think about what it is where's all our information. So my legal love letter is called a family love letter, which actually lists everything like your attorney, your accountant, your tax preparer, your insurance agent, your job, your retirement. This is part of my legal love letter, okay? And it actually it's very extensive, and you just put everything in here and you put an effective date, or you don't put an effective date. But this is something that you need to leave with your loved one or someone you trust, like my daughters and my husband. This is what I leave with them, to let them know, here is all my information. Here's my password. Because I'm gonna give you a situation that happened with my cousin. My cousin, a year older than me, he ended up dying. His brother, who's younger, could not find any of his information. And he died suddenly. Well, he had cancer, but he died suddenly. But my brother and my cousin didn't know anything about it. He didn't know what he wanted. He couldn't find anything. But if he had a legal love letter, a family love letter, where everything is, what's his past, whatever. So he had to end up breaking into his computer just to get some information. And you know what happened? He couldn't even get anything from the bank because he was not on that beneficiary. So when you have that legal love letter, you make sure your beneficiary is updated at the bank as well. That's very important to make sure that is that's updated, and also your insurance is updated. Your accountant, your insurance agent, all of that is included in that. And this is something that I want to give the person that when they reach out to me on this here. So you know what, my screen, there we go. I think I have to use that. I'm trying to use a little clicker and it's not working here. So some of the considerations about having part of planning your legacy, the steps. The first is healthcare considerations, right? So healthcare considerations as far as ensuring and protection during the COVID, outbreak. While you're taking steps, every step possible to ensuring that your health or your parents is taken care of during the current coronavirus crisis, there remains a chance that you or the loved one will need to interact with that healthcare system during that outbreak. And you know what's happening now? We can't even go to the nursing homes. And it's so sad because now this is something, and this is part of that, those steps, making sure that that medical information is updated, because now the hospitals need their healthcare power of attorney, which is also included in our will estate planning here. So having that all up to date, and you can't even visit a hospital, it's just so many things that you can't do now, especially now. So we're here to try and answer some of the most pressing questions on the legal side of healthcare so that you and your family can stay focused on the recovery of that family member. So one of the things you want to make sure is that you got the medical insurance, right? What happens to my medical insurance if I lose my job? This has been happening a lot, right? With the unemployment rate, with everything that's going on here. So economic realities are forcing employees to lay off employees or reduce hours. And for many, that means the loss of health insurance for themselves and their families. So fortunately, and this is something for COBRA, which is Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act, allows employees of companies of 20 or more to elect to keep their current group health plan, provided that they meet the standard for qualifying events. This is not really happening today because a lot of people are being laid off. And with everything that's going on with the government, this is what we want to make sure that people are actually, their health care are protected. And we help you with that as well. So having the working hours reduced. So this allows employees to stay on if they have a health care for at least 18 to 36 months with the COBRA. So all those costs are probably a lot more expensive, but some of them, I guess we have to really try to see what's going to happen in 2021 with our healthcare. Power of attorney. Power of attorney is so important in the medical documentation. Like I said, we go into the hospital, things happen. You need to make sure that you got that financial and healthcare power of attorney documented. And I'm gonna tell you something too. If you have a child that's 18 years old, do you know that they have to give you permission if they're in a hospital? Because the doctors won't take your word for it. They have to have a power of attorney to say, I give my parents power of attorney to actually, on my behalf, of medical, whatever they have to get done in the hospital. I want to make sure that you know that. That is so important because 18 years old is still a child to me, but just keep that in mind. So your illness is challenged enough for your family that the difficulty is only made worse by a lack of clarity surrounding your wishes and who should make the important decision. I always say when I'm out, doing my networking, I say, with this information, there's always challenges with a family member, right? Family member may not have been around. You don't know who Uncle Joe is or who Sally is or whatever. I always say, well, there's a will, there's 500 relatives. All of a sudden you get relatives coming out of nowhere that says, I knew him and you've never heard of that relative. So this is why power of attorney is so important, that you're making sure you have all that updated here. So even with an advance directive in place, having someone with authority of power of attorney alleviates any messy disputes between family members and ensures that your treatment conforms to wishes, not those of others. And this is very important to make sure you got the power of attorney and medical documentation. Personal information safety. How can I ensure that my personal information stays safe? That is something that we need to, because with this COVID and a lot of identity theft, this has been happening. So unfortunately, a crisis presents an opportunity for bad actors to take advantage of people's fears and panic for their personal gain. This is a lot with some of our older adults, as far as people that are taking advantage of them. So people are desperate for information on the coronavirus, excuse me, and its spread. And I don't know if you heard, a couple of months ago, this guy said he had the cure to coronavirus. Well, he didn't. And of course, he got arrested. This is what they're talking about here. So you want to make sure that you are up to date as far as your personal information. So they have apps that track the spread of disease that may be loaded with the malware, with the identity theft, and fake cures have begun to pop up online and elsewhere. So while the Justice Department and the FTC and the FDA have begun to crack down on hackers and scammers, you still need to be concerned and aware of what's going on there. So with what we do, and this is my passion to make sure everybody is covered, Legal Shield, this is included, everything that I just talked about, this is included in our membership, Legal Shield membership. But I've actually been more, and that's why I created more of the WDP, of a consultant and helping everyone be able to have that protection with our services. So Legal Shield membership, we've been in business for over 45 years. I have actually been in it, me and my husband, for 22 years. So we've been in it, and I wanted to make sure that I got out in the community to help everyone, to make sure that everybody was protected and having their legacy protected. So having that peace of mind, instead of paying the steep hourly rates typically charged by other firms, entrepreneurs and individuals can pay an affordable rate for legal protection and advice on major issues. So everyone, and this is why I that social work comes out of me. Everyone deserves legal protection. With everything that's going on today, we all deserve legal protection. So Legal Shield offers that comprehensive coverage for individuals, families, and businesses in unexpected legal questions that arise each day. What I just talked about that legacy, this is part of your legacy. This is something that's affordable, that you don't have to pay that high hourly cost of that, where you can be able to afford something that you can get that your legacy, your will, estate planning all done for what we actually charge for this, okay, which is $24.95 a month. Small business, we want to protect your small business as well. Now, let me tell you about your legacy. Make sure when you have your business and your will estate planning, make sure you include that in your will, your estate planning as well. So that makes it very important that you do that here. And I think Leanne actually, which is my virtual assistant, I'm so proud of her. She actually does a lot of this for me. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that.
Wanda, can you share the screen? Can you hear me, Wanda?
Yes, can you hear it?
When you go and click your share screen, just make sure that you're sharing with audio.
Yes, I just put share sound. Okay.
Our caring and dedicated law firms can help you with a wide range of legal matters, all for less than $1 a day. Protecting and empowering you with a law firm in the palm of your hand. The Legal Shield mobile app can help you begin preparing your will. take pictures of a traffic ticket and securely submit it directly to your law firm, access free legal forms, or speak to a lawyer with just the press of a button. You can also upload a contract or document for legal review, contact your law firm to have a phone call or a letter made on your behalf, or call 24/7, 365 in an emergency. Need fast answers to common legal questions? Chat with our legal bot Aaron anytime. Legal Shield protects over 1.8 million households in all 50 states, plus Canada and the United Kingdom, liberating our clients from legal frustration. Knowing you have a law firm in your corner protecting you can be empowering. Worry less and live more. Sign up for Legal Shield.
Okay, so the reason why I showed this is because Legal Shield has become so much, so tech savvy that you can do it on your phone. So you can actually do your will estate planning right on your phone with this, which is a great, great thing to have, because now we don't have to do all the paper. Like I did the old school way, I actually did it on the computer, sent it to the law firm. The law firm actually prepares everything for you, including that. Thank you, Evie, for coming in. Okay, so Candace, this is where you can drop in the chat about the will and estate planning checklist here. So with Legal Shield, we actually give you the free will, but what I give you is actually this free estate planning checklist, which is a great tool because it actually helps you step by step to make sure that you are having everything that you need and checking off everything that you need to get your legacy complete. And also I have the legal love letter. So I would love to chat with people to actually make sure that they have that information, because now more than ever, you need this. We need this with this coronavirus. We want to make sure that we got our legacy in order. We want to make sure that we are following the steps. And with this estate planning checklist, these are my steps to actually make sure that you have your legacy protected as well. So I want to make sure that everybody, if anybody have any questions, so this is my contact details information, and I appreciate everything. And Candace, I think I am done with my thing here. So, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm tired. So if anybody have any more questions here, any questions, I would love to answer. I didn't see the chat. I didn't see anybody, the things in the chat here. Okay, thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Wanda. I am going to stop the recording in Facebook. Hold on just a second.
Okay.